Hey everybody, welcome back to World of Tanks with Hachiman. Today I'm bringing you something I've been promising for quite some time, and that is the science of success, your crews. This video is going to talk about the most important part of your tank, and it's also the part that everyone forgets about, and that is the crew. You can have the best gun, you can have the fastest tank with the most armor, and if your crew sucks, you're going to lose. It's that simple. Never lose a battle because your crew wasn't up to snuff. So, let's click on the barracks here. And of course the barracks you can sort by nation, type of vehicle, what classification they are, and you can see I got billions of unused 100% crew members because of all these special events that they've had over the couple years, and all sorts of stuff, plus some guys that I've trained, like a pretty good heavy tank Tiger crew, etc. Every crew member, of course, has a training level. Starts as low as 50, as high as 100. Has available perks if they're over 100%, or at 100%, excuse me. Has a rank which is based on their training level, and also has a wide variety of skills and perks available. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. You can change things about your crew member. You can change their name. You can change their their job is, what their role is, that type of thing. Generally speaking, tanks will have as few as 2 crew members and as many as 7. For instance, my T110E4 has 5. A commander, every tank has a commander, a gunner, which most tanks have, a driver, which most tanks have, and this particular guy has 2 loaders. Most tanks have 1. Some tanks have none. The loading skills are shared by the other guys. Some tanks also have a radio operator. This one does not. The commander shares the radio operator role. The gunner directly impacts how quickly your gun aims, how generally accurate it is. The aim circle will be bigger on a lower rated gunner. And the driver, for example, will impact how agile the tank is, how quickly the turret can turn, how quickly the tank will traverse, how quickly it gets up to speed. Your loader directly impacts how quickly the gun loads. I mean, it's very, very simple. Radio operator will have an impact on radio range and to some extent view range. Commander has the biggest impact on view range and impacts everybody else. As you can see, my commander here on the T110E4 is 105%, okay, and all these other guys are 116. Well, first off, how can you be 105%? Well, he's not. He's 100%, and this particular machine is loading vents, which adds 5%, so that gives him 105. So why are these guys 116? Because your commander gives a bonus to your guys of 10% of his own skill. If your commander is 100%, all the other guys on the tank get an additional 10%. Okay? If your commander's 105, because of the vents, all the other guys on the tank get 116 because they're getting 10% of 105, which is 10.5%, and they're adding that to 105, which is 115.5% rounded up. Furthermore, I could, and I'm not saying I should, but I can take my fire extinguisher off this tank and put a case of cola on it. And now, the commander is 115 because he gets 5% for the vents and 10% for the colas, and all they go up to 127. Well, that's pretty impressive. Okay, so what does this all have to do with, I mean, Hachi, why are we talking about this? Alright, let's get back to why crew skills are all important. And I can most easily, I believe, show this on, say, my T28 heavy tank concept. And we'll click tier 4 as well. Here we go. So here's my T28 HTC, and when I click him, he automatically loads my crew from my T110E4. And this machine has a rate of fire of 6 rounds per minute. That's assuming a 100% loader. Every time you look at the stats of a tank, it's a 100% loader with no additional bonuses. So he's firing 1 shot every 10 seconds. But see this right here? Actual gun reload time, 8.44. Well, why is he 8.44? Well, because the loaders are 116, not 110. Okay? Or not 100, excuse me. They're 116 because of the commander bonus and the 5% for the vents. Now, to illustrate how much of a difference this makes, let's take my T40, which you can see is nowhere near fully trained. Everyone's 94%. They're getting +9 for the commander. Let's drop the crew. Let's go to my T28 HTC. Let's drop the crew. And then I'm going to load the T40 crew. Almost done. My T40 crew, which is not 100%, has an actual gun reload time of 8.67 seconds. Okay, so I lost. I lost 0.23 seconds, give or take. Okay, and the reason for it is because of the 7% difference between these loaders and the loaders that I normally use on this tank. When you're talking about a loader, 1 percentage point will make a difference in your reload time of about 0.04 seconds. Okay. So let's drop these guys. We'll add them back to the T40. Go back to my T28. So, just for grins, let's recruit a 50% crew. This is the free crew that you can get with any tank. And I don't mind doing it because they're free. Just for illustration purposes. Oops. Gotta click the recruit button. Now I have a 50% crew. And they're 55 on the commander because of the vents, 61 on everybody else. Reload time, 10.84 seconds. 10.84 seconds. Versus... Oops, wrong button. Versus the 8.44 seconds of my T110E4 crew. 2.4 seconds extra between shots. Okay? Because of a difference of 60% in the crew. Well, no, excuse me, 55% in the crew. So, when you are recruiting a crew for a tank, do not, under any circumstances, pick the free crew. If you don't have the money to buy a 75% crew or retrain your your crew from another tank to it with 75%, don't do it. Just wait until you make a little bit more money, because that will make the difference between failing and succeeding. Let's go back real quick. I want to look at my M48 Patton. Now, look at these crew skills. 120% on the commander, 132 on your gunner, your driver, and your loader. Well, that's because I've got vents for 5%, I've got cola for 10, and I've got complete Sisterhood of Steel, male version Brothers in Arms, which adds another 10. Okay, so I'm getting excuse me, I'm getting 10, I'm sorry, another 5 for Sisterhood of Steel. I'm getting 10, 5, and 5 makes 120%, and then add 12% to the other guys for the commander bonus. And now, this 7.19 second rate of fire, which is about 8.5 rounds per minute, or excuse me, is about 8.5 seconds between shots, is getting 6.61. the DPM boost is outrageous, and that's just with these extra bonuses. Okay, that's not even talking about if I add a crappy 75% crew. So, vents. I have vents on every tank I own that'll take them because that bonus is outrageous. Things like cola and chocolate and that type of thing, I put them on select tanks. It is expensive, 20,000 credits. I've got it on my Patton in place of a fire extinguisher because I rarely get caught on fire on this tank. And I have chocolate on my RU-251. I've got cola on my Scorpion. So you've got to pick and choose what tanks you put those types of things on. Talk about perks for a minute. Every crew member has perks available once you hit 100%. Oh, by the way, talk about rank real quickly. People sometimes ask how the ranks work. Well, it's very simple. When they hit 100% on their skill, they go up one rank, and then every time they hit 50 or 100% on a perk, they gain another rank. So as you can see, my T110E4 commander, who has completed 3 full perks and is halfway through his, well, 3/4 of the way through his 4th, has gained 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ranks. He's a major. On top of that, I got 2 captains and 2 first lieutenants on this tank. Probably not a good idea to have all those officers in one place, but anyway. Alright, so back to talk about perks. There's a wide range of perks available, and what perks are available depends on what your role is on the tank. Commanders get 6th Sense. They get Recon, which extends the view range. 6th Sense lets you know if you've been spotted. As a note, 6th Sense, there's a difference between a skill and a perk. Skills start having an effect immediately, okay, the moment you start training them. Perks only come into effect when they reach 100%. 6th Sense is the thing that pops up and lets you know you've been spotted. Keep in mind it only works after you've been spotted for 3 seconds. Recon extends your view range. Situational Awareness, this is a radio operator skill actually. It extends view range as well. And then you've got Brothers in Arms, which is a general perk. Every skill has a value. Every skill has a purpose. What's best for you, I can't tell you because it varies from tank to tank to tank to tank. So I will tell you a commander without 6th Sense is probably going to get his tank killed a lot. When you're looking at, say, a loader without safe stowage is probably going to get his tank killed a lot. A driver without preventative maintenance is probably going to get his crew killed a lot. However, there's one very important one that I'm training on all these guys right here, Brothers in Arms. That is the skill that increases all of the qualifications of everybody on your tank. It is a perk. It only comes into effect when it's 100%. So I highly recommend getting Brothers in Arms as the first skill or perk on every tank. If I had realized how valuable it was 2 years ago, all my stuff would be very different. But I'm only just now training it on a lot of my machines. You have to take that into with a grain of salt. You may have to make it your second perk. For instance, if you're an auto-loading tank, they tend to get ammo racked a lot. Safe stowage is extremely important. So if you're in a tank with a 20% chance of fire or worse, then you might want firefighting. You have to, or preventative maintenance on your driver. You guys have to make those decisions as to what makes the most sense. Some of these things like smooth ride, clutch braking, off-road driving, these things that help you drive better and faster. Is it important? Well, it depends on what type of machine you've got. So, anyway. You guys have to kind of read that and each individual perk and decide which one makes the most sense. As a side note, I'm more than happy to discuss that in a little more detail on an individual basis. Let's see here. So when you get a new tank, the first thing you gotta do is put a crew on it, and I mentioned this before, but you can put anybody on any tank essentially. I've got my M48 Patton, and I'm going to put a commander from the T110E5. Look what her skill does, or his skill does, if you can read that. It drops to 65%, even though he's 100%. Why does it do that? Well, number one, he's not trained on this class of tank. Number two, he's not trained on this tank. If he were a medium tank driver, I don't know that I've got an extra one here somewhere. M4 improved. Medium tank driver only drops to, or commander, excuse me, only drops to 90%. Okay. However, so he still drops, but not as badly. If you put a guy on a tank, a crew member on a tank that he is not trained for, not only do his skills drop, but he also doesn't earn crew experience. Or at least not as fast. I've heard that both ways. Some people say he doesn't earn it at all. Some people say he earns it at like 1/4 rate. I've not gotten what I feel like a credible, complete answer on that. But the point is, don't put a guy on a tank who's not trained for it. Okay? When you're recruiting or retraining your crew members, and this is a bad example. Hold on one moment. Let me just switch to anybody, doesn't matter who. So I just got the M48A1 Patton. I need to train a commander to it. So you go to this training screen right here and you click current vehicle. And here are my options. I can do free, which is a waste of time because it trains him at 60%. He performs better than that already. Or I can click regimental, which costs me 20,000 credits, trains him at 80%, slightly better than recruiting an all-new commander. Or if I've got the gold to spend, I can do Tank Academy. He's 100%. He can start working on skills and perks immediately. If you don't have the money to do this, don't do it at all. Just play a couple more games with some other tank, a premium or whatever, make the money, and then retrain your crew member. And the last thing to talk about is premium tanks. I was shocked to realize that a lot of people don't understand the way premium tanks work. Okay, here I've got a crew for an EZ8 Sherman. Now let's do this. Let's filter this so that I can get, whoops, not the Fury, the EZ8. So here's my EZ8 Sherman crew. Okay. Pretty good crew overall. And, God, I love this tank. I just absolutely love this tank. If you right-click, and here we go, service record, training. To get to 16%, he needs 147 crew XP, 1 battle. To get to 100%, he needs 415,647 crew XP, which is going to approximately take 324 battles. That's based on the average crew XP he's getting, okay, per the number of battles he has fought. That is on the EZ8 Sherman. He needs 324 battles. Well, let's click on the Fury, and he moves over, because I've got my mod set up to do that. Well, on the Fury, he needs 406. This might be a bad example. That's really interesting. Alright, the last thing we're going to talk about is premium tanks. I was shocked to realize that someone in my clan with about 4,000 battles didn't understand how premium tanks work for crew training. Now, we all know premium tanks make more credits, and we all know they make more XP, but they have a value to training your crew that you may not realize. When we click my T110E4 right here, and I can right-click the personnel file on my commander, and it says he needs 1.1 million XP, crew XP, to get his current skill up to 100%, or equivalently 1,519 battles based on his average XP. Well, let's put him on the T-28 heavy tank concept. This is the same commander, Major Crispin New. And now he only needs 868 battles. It's down by almost half. Why is that? Because premium tanks generate more XP than standard tanks, and they generate a lot more crew XP. The other thing is, a lot of times when you buy a premium tank, it comes with a crew already. But you don't need one, okay? Because the whole point of a premium tank is I can take any crew member of the right type. Well, that one's trained for a T-28 HTC. Okay, I can take any. This is an American premium tank destroyer. I can take any American tank destroyer crew. Here's a T-25 crew. And I can put them on this tank. Okay. That is the... Wow, I've got a lot of T-28 HTC guys. And you see his skill doesn't go red. He still acts like he's his full percentage, and he still gets XP. Okay? That is the most important thing about a premium tank, is its ability... Pardon me while I get my crews straight again. Its ability to train guys. When I was grinding through American tanks, American mediums, when I got a new one, I immediately selected him as a primary tank, and then I selected all of my American premium medium tanks as primary, and I just played through them one at a time. Got the multiplier, and then moved to the next one. Got the multiplier, moved the next time, and just kept moving the crew over. I trained my crews in record time. Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing how quickly. But you don't need a crew for a premium tank. If you have a T-26E4 Super Pershing, if you have the new Skoda, if you've got a T-34 or a German Lurva or what have you, you do not need a crew for your tank. Do not have a crew that is trained for the Lurva. Okay? You have a crew that's trained for the E75. They play on the Lurva. They get no penalty for not being trained to the tank. They keep all their skills, and they generate XP a lot faster. And then one last thing about generating XP. Any tank that has elite status, elite being defined as there is nothing in the tech tree that you have not researched for that tank. As you can see, basically all my American tanks are elite. You've researched all modules as well as the tank that moves on. It is now an elite tank, and you can click this little button right up here, accelerate crew training. That means that in addition to the crew XP they earn, all of your other XP that you earn will go right into crew training. If you want to train up a bunch of crews really quickly, you have just got the M48A1 patent and you need to train its crew, all you need is 2 or 3 or 4 American premium medium tanks with accelerate crew training on, and rotate through to get the ×2 or whatever is running for the weekend, and you will train them in record time. So anyway, I hope that answered everybody's questions. This was a lot of information, but to sum up, make sure you're buying at least 75% crews. Use your premium tanks to train your crews. Make sure you're using things that grant you modifiers like vents or cola or chocolate or brothers in arms. And make sure you pick the right skills and perks for the tank. Skills and perks should be used to shore up your problems or to improve what you're already good at. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope this was informative. Please thumbs up the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time.